Hi everyone, I'm Jason Hayes, Product Manager for Trimble RealWorks, and in today's video, we're going to take a look at how to create, well, videos using point clouds. Now these videos, they can be posted to YouTube, used in news broadcasts or documentaries, or even just shared with your clients. They're a lot of fun to create, and they're a great visual marketing tool. So let's take a look at how to create videos using point clouds in Trimble RealWorks version 10.4. Okay, so I've got a nice looking scan project here. I'd like to create a video around this ship. So the first thing I need to do is go and clean up my point cloud to remove anything that I don't want in the video. This could be people or vehicles moving around, or even like the scaffolding down here on the ship. Well, conveniently, I've already cleaned up the point cloud, so I'm just going to come over here and isolate just the cleaned up ship. So the next thing that I want to do is I want to make sure that I'm in the production mode. And then on my tabs here, I'm just going to go over to the media tab, and I'm just going to select my point cloud and then open the video creator tool. Okay, so once the tool opens, you'll see all of my different options over here for creating my video. You'll also know that my screen is now split into two views. So I'm just going to start over here with step one. This is the quick mode. And if I rotate around up here, you can kind of see my scan of my ship. Now there's a couple things that I want to do with the point cloud before I create the video. The first thing I want to do is I want to just come over here and bump the pixels up to 2. Okay, so it might look a little clunky here, but once I render the video, it's going to look a lot better. Then I want to add some shading. So I'm just going to come down here and click on my shading button. And from the list, I'm just going to choose ambient shading. So it's going to give it a little bit shading there, add some shadows in, give it a little bit more of a realistic look. Then the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to come down here at the bottom of the screen. So this is where we have the amount of points loaded. In this case, I'm going to leave it set at 25 million. It doesn't really matter for this tool because it's going to render whatever's on the screen. So in that case, I want to come over here and make sure that HD mode is turned on. So clicking on HD mode, I don't know if you noticed, it did a quick flash. It loaded up a few more points in the project. So once that's done, then I'm ready to start creating my video. So the way these two windows work is up here, this is showing the path, and you can see the different camera positions here. And as I change the path, I'm just going to click on this red ring and move it out. You'll see that it's changing the view down here. So this is the view that you're going to see in your video. Okay, so I need to zoom out just a little bit more so that I can see all of the ship. I'm just going to move that out. I don't know, like that. It looks a lot better. I can probably come back in a little bit more. All right, so we just move it till it looks good to us. Maybe about like that. Okay, so that looks great. Now I could come in here and also use these orientation gizmos. So I can move the path up, I can move it down, and if I wanted to move it side to side or something, I could do that as well. But right now this looks good. I want to keep it centered on my ship, so that looks great. Then I'm going to come back over here and go to step 2. And I'm just going to set the duration to 5 seconds now. And the reason I'm doing that is so that as I do a preview, when I click play, it won't take as long to watch the whole video. If I wanted the video to be 30 seconds in the end, I would have to sit through this for 30 seconds every time I did a preview to see how it was going to look. By keeping it down at a smaller number, then I can get through these previews pretty quick. So that looks great, and if I wanted to create the video, I could go ahead and create it now. But before I create a video, let's go ahead and take a look at the other couple of options here. So maybe you don't want your cameras positioned right there and just flying around in a circle. The next mode, step by step, allows you to go in and create the positions for the cameras. Now in the step by step mode, it allows us to create the camera path and positions of the camera that we want. So if I look at the screen down here in the bottom, as I move that around, that's the view that I'm going to have in the final rendered video. And in the top screen, you can see the position of the camera. So for example, let's move the camera around here. Something like this. And if I zoom out up here, you can see where the camera's at. So I can go ahead and come over here and create a new keyframe. So this is going to be a camera position. I just click that there. And you can see down here in the toggle, now it's moving me to keyframe 2. So if I just rotate around here, something like this. Looks pretty good. And then let's go ahead and keep this duration set to 5 seconds and click play just to see how this is going to look. Okay, so I didn't like the way it kind of went down out of the screen a little bit. So I'm just going to come up here and delete the current keyframe. I think that the first one, we probably actually should have moved it so that the ship was more in the middle of the screen. And now, with that camera position there, we're going to click Add New Keyframe, and then we're just going to rotate around here like this. Alright, and I think that that'll look a lot better. Let's click play and see how that looks. Okay, so that looks pretty good. Now the idea with this is that I'm going to take a bunch of clips and put them together probably in another software afterwards before I present them to the world. So I'll admit with Trimble RealWorks it's a bit difficult to string a lot of keyframes together and get smooth transitions. So the strategy I take is to do a number of short keyframes, short paths, and then knowing that later I'm going to blend those together to get something a little bit nicer looking. Okay, so now I'm ready to render this. I'm just going to come down here into the step 2. I'm going to go ahead and bump my direction up now. Let's go ahead and bump this up to 10 seconds. It'll be nice and slow. And the idea is I'm going to probably cut a little bit off of this when I go ahead and create the final video. So I'm going to leave it set to quick processing. You're getting very high quality at a fraction of the time commitment that it does to do high quality. And then I'm going to click create. And in here, I'm going to just give the project a name. We'll just overwrite that one, ship. The file type is going to be an AVI. The resolution, we're just going to go with HD 1080p. And the codec, we've got a few options here. So you have uncompressed, which really probably doesn't make any difference because I'm going to put this into another software later to merge a bunch of clips together to make something. But it will use codecs that are installed on your Windows system. So there was a few that have showed up here. I installed Xvid at one point. I know it says MPEG-4, but it's not going to create an MP4. So I'm just going to leave that set to uncompressed and then go ahead and click save. Okay, it's finished rendering. I'm going to go ahead and click OK. And now if I just want to take a look at how that final video looks, I'm just going to browse to that location. Okay, then I'm just going to go ahead and double click to open this. Okay, so that looks pretty good. I did notice that it was a little bit faster than I like. So what I would probably do is maybe re-render that. Again, it doesn't take very long. And I may just bump the speed up to 20 seconds or something like that, just to give me a little bit smoother video and not quite so fast as it seems like the ship is just zipping by. Okay, so there's one more step, one more option that I wanted to show you, and that is the path mode. So if I select on that, it's going to ask me to choose a path or draw a path. Okay, so since I don't have a polyline or a path to follow, I need to draw one. So I've gone ahead and changed this view to the top. Once I launch the drawing tool, it's going to lock me into a 2D view. So now I just need to move my point cloud where I want to start my drawing, and then I'm just going to click to start the drawing. So you can see I've got a line taking off here, and I'm just going to try to click around a few areas following along the top deck of the ship here, maybe trying to look at something interesting. Now I could change to an arc, but I haven't had the best of luck. The turns seem just as abrupt if I'm using a straight line or an arc. So we're just going to come up here and I'm going to double click just to end my line, and then I'm going to click create, and now I have a path to use. So I can see that my path is down here in the middle of the ship again. So I'm just going to come over here, click on my gizmo, and drag this line up. There we go. So that looks quite a bit better. I don't know if it would look good. Maybe move it down just a bit so we can see some interesting things. That looks good. Okay, so now I'm going to come up here and we've got the option for the direction. We can go straight or have the camera always looking left or right or top or bottom. So in this case we want straight, so that's going to follow along from the back of the ship toward the front. Set our time duration to 15 seconds. This will go a little bit slower, but it won't be quite so jarring when we create the final video. So let's go ahead and click play and see how this looks. So that looked pretty good. And again, if I wanted to render this, I've got the same video rendering options available as when I use the step-by-step mode. So that's pretty much all there is to creating videos from point clouds and models inside of Trimble RealWorks. If you want to stick around, I'll show you a little bit about how I get these videos ready for posting or sharing with clients. So once I've finished creating a number of short clips, I'll generally take them into a professional video editing software such as Vegas or Adobe Premiere. There's a number of softwares out there that are fairly cheap or even free. Really all I'm looking for is something that'll let me put my videos end to end. What I do like is the capability to do some overlap, so being able to merge two videos sections over each other so you get this kind of fade effect like that. And then the ability to export it out as a nice MP4 or something that you can upload to YouTube or deliver to your client. So in this short example, you probably noticed there was music playing in the background. Now music always adds kind of a more professional feel to your videos, and there's a number of sources you can find this music. I just did a Google search for YouTube royalty-free music, so there's certainly a lot of paid sites where you can browse and select songs, but I like this audio library right here offered through YouTube. Now these songs and sounds that are offered through the library are certainly just for use on YouTube, but you'll see that there's a number of songs here, and if you go through, you can search through them or click on them. You can click on the play button to get previews. And if you click on them, you'll see some of them have attribution requirements. This means that you need to call out the artist in there. But if you click on others, you'll notice that there's no attribution requirements on there. You're free to use those in your videos. So however you want, whatever music you find, you have different rights that you can use. So it's a good place for finding music to share your videos on YouTube. And again, there's certainly great paid sites if you want to go down that route as well. So I just wanted to leave you with one last example. This is a video I had done for a news broadcast demonstrating how much a building had moved during an earthquake. So what I did is I created 4 identical videos. One with just the point cloud, one with a model of where the building is, one with a model of where the building should be, and then one with just the models. And then I just merged them in that video editing software. And I just used a fade to go over and kind of transition from each clip. So I don't spend a lot of time making these videos. They could certainly be a lot better, but hopefully they'll give you some ideas on what you could create for what you or your client may want. So we've covered quite a bit about how to create videos using point clouds. I hope you can take these skills and these tools and create some awesome videos of your own. I look forward to seeing them on YouTube or maybe even a news broadcast. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I look forward to seeing you on the next one. Thanks for watching.